Hey, I'm Mike, and welcome to Retro Boost. This is the finale of my RAD2X and RetroTINK comparison videos, RAD2X Nintendo specifically. I keep forgetting to put that at the end of that statement. It's the RAD2X Nintendo. There are other RAD2X devices. This one is on the 5X Pro. So we moved on from Super Nintendo to N64, started with the RAD2X Nintendo versus the 2X Pro, doing some comparisons with the N64, Composite, and then S-Video as well for the 2X Pro, and then rounding it out with RGB comparisons with the 2X Pro using my RGB 2Comp, running component cables from there into it through my game system setup there with Extron. So now, same stuff, but with the 5X Pro. And like with the last video, I'm going to be super abridged with the details on the devices. There are plenty of videos if you want to learn more about the devices themselves, the first and second parts of this particular series, plus plenty of other videos on these topics on my channel. Before we get started, feel free to subscribe if you do find the video helpful or informative. Thank you all so much who watch and subscribe. It means a lot to me. I enjoy making this stuff, like, genuinely as a hobby, but it's really nice to see the support that everyone's thrown in. Like, it really is really cool. Secondly, Discord server for the channel has been live now for a little while. It's where all the news and updates go. We also have a thing going there where until the end of this year, videos go there before they come to live to YouTube. So you can watch videos early by being a member of the Discord server. That'll change after the new year. It's part of like a ranking system. It's all free though. Basically, you participate, you level up certain levels, and higher get the videos early. But right now, everyone gets them early. We've also got a special giveaway promotion that'll be happening. More details on that at the end of the video. So now let's get started with kind of setting the framework for what these comparisons are going to be. This will be the same set of comparisons for the 5X Pro that the 2X Pro went through. So first, we'll start off by doing composite versus composite. Composite mode for the RAD2X Nintendo, both with smoothing off and smoothing on, against the 5X Pro, composite, and then S-Video, just like with the 2X Pro comparisons of the same stuff. For the 5X Pro settings, we'll keep things to their default settings. 1080p fill, generic 4x3, and then sharp filter for the smoothing off examples, and the smooth filter for the smoothing on examples. And then after that, we'll get into the RGB stuff, and we'll preface that just like beforehand last time. So, with that said, let's check out how the RAD2X Nintendo and the 5X Pro fare, and how they work on improving the N64's output, starting with these composite, and then for the 5X Pro specifically, then moving it up to S-Video side by sides.
Woo!
Okay, so now we've seen some composite examples, and that's using my original childhood N64, just a standard N64, composite cables directly to the 5X Pro, same for S-Video, and then composite mode for the RAD2X, smoothing on, smoothing off. Interesting here. So with the 2X Pro comparisons, they were pretty much equal. The RAD2X Nintendo and the 2X Pro composite, almost indiscernible. Like, there are some little things, but I felt like it was like splitting hairs. With the 5X Pro, certain situations, the RAD2X just is the better device, in my opinion at least. The sharp examples with no smoothing, I think the RAD2X is the clear winner. It looked better. I liked it more. With smoothing on, they're pretty equal, bringing to mind the 2X Pro comparisons of how they're just really similar. Certain things, I think the RAD2X was still doing better. One example is text-like clarity. And even with the 5X Pro stepping up to S-Video, I think the RAD2X was still holding its own and even doing that kind of thing, like text clarity, better than the 5X Pro was. And I think this is where the N64 is such an interesting console, because ever since I got interested in this world of like retro gaming enhancement, the N64 has just always been a console that I've been trying to figure out, and I've like never really been happy with what I've been able to do with it. The 2X Pro, I think, does a great job with the N64, especially with S-Video, and then with an RGB one even further than that. The 5X Pro, it never really impressed me, even from day one. I remember saying back then that I think the 2X Pro was still doing a better job with the N64 than the 5X Pro was, and I think that still rings true. But then here comes the RAD2X Nintendo, and that was kind of the first time that I was like, I like what I'm seeing. I think the RAD2X is doing a great job. Now that I'm seeing them side by side, I think that's being affirmed to me that the RAD2X Nintendo is a great solution for the N64 specifically, even beyond a device that's far more expensive. It's just because this console is like such a butt of a console to improve. Like, it's the console's doing it. Like, it's just strange. The 5X Pro does amazing stuff with plenty of other devices. The N64 is just this beast that's hard to tame, and the RAD2X seems to be the beast master here. Let's see if that momentum continues though, because now we'll switch it up and we'll do RGB using my RGB Modded N64. And just like last time, we'll do examples with Deblur on and Deblur off in conjunction with smoothing or sharpening, or rather for the RAD2X Nintendo, no smoothing. So it'll be Deblur on, sharp filter for the 5X Pro, so maximum sharpness, and then Deblur off, smooth filter on for the 5X Pro, smoothing on for the RAD2X, maximum smoothness, and we'll see how they compare with this next level of quality output from this situation. We'll see how they do. Can the Beastmaster continue, or will the 5X Pro reign supreme? We'll see. I use these words, it's not really a contest, it's words to see how they compare, because I'm just genuinely curious. Like I've said in the previous parts, the RAD2X is like this device designed for a specific purpose, whereas the RetroTINK devices are a little more broad in their design and their usage. So it's always interesting to see how the specialist compares to the generalist. So now let's see. But yeah, Beastmaster and so on. This was interesting. I really didn't know quite what to expect. I had a suspicion, and the suspicion was that the RAD2X was gonna continue to be that Beastmaster, as I was saying. And that's kind of what happened. The RAD2X, I think, is the better of the two in this regard. So when it comes to the RGB side of the equation, I think the RAD2X had the better, more defined nature of clarity on the Deblur on example, and like just the more efficient smoothing in the Deblur off examples against the 5X Pro. It's interesting. And the color also swung the other way. Now the RAD2X comes across as the one with like the more kind of vivid popping color, whereas the 5X Pros seems to have like flattened out a little bit, whereas that was the opposite when comparing the 2X Pro and the RAD2X with the RGB modded system. So it's interesting how these things are different when you start to put them side by side. Now both of these on their own are very good. The side-by-side just kind of enlighten you on certain aspects of it, but can't forget that like on its own, the 5X Pro, when running this RGB content, I think the smoothing on with no Deblur is like the best in my opinion. Like I'm happy with it, like I honestly am. Like it's good. The RAD2X just does it better. And maybe a part of that is because it isn't trying to take the image further before the television or the monitor or whatever you're using has to then take it from there. The 5X Pro is doing a lot more work on the signal than the RAD2X is. The RAD2X is a line doubling device, whereas the 5X Pro is like a full-on upscaling unit. So part of it could be playing around more with the settings. But again, this is all about keeping kind of simple, getting to the core of the matter, just their default settings versus like something more optimized. There's a lot more that you could do with the 5X Pro side of it though. You could do N64 sampling, there's different resolutions to try, both greater and lesser than 1080p. There's a ton of variables there. That and scan lines as well. Combining scan lines with the HDR signal flagging in particular is a great option. I finished working on that video recently, and I believe it would have gone up before this one did. If not, it'll be the next one, but I'm pretty sure it would have already been out by now. But I did a big video going over the 5X Pro's ability to inject an HDR signal flag into its output, which if you have a television that accepts high dynamic range, it tricks the TV into going into that brighter picture mode, combine that with scan lines, and you get pretty amazing picture. So there's examples of that in action. That's probably some of the best looking N64 content that I've ever seen out of all these devices. Now the RAD2X cannot do scan lines, so that's one area where the 5X Pro and even the 2X Pro can pick up that slack. So it's all worth being aware of. As far as who does what better, I'd have to give the N64 experience to the RAD2X. With the Super Nintendo, they were really close, but I felt like the 2X Pro and the 5X Pro kind of came out on top with those higher-end cables at least. Considering price alone, the RAD2X made the more sense. But it depends on what you own. A wider console collection makes sense to get something like the 2X Pro or the 5X Pro. If it's all you had was one or two things, if those one or two things are a Super Nintendo and an N64, I'd recommend the RAD2X Nintendo. It does a great job with both of them. Even with the more kind of baseline abilities of the N64 unmodded, it's still fine. It's good. It's better than most other any option, considering what's out there. Those generic converters or just going straight into a TV. It's better than all that. So, awesome. hope this was helpful and informative in showing you what these devices do with this content and these various cables and whatnot in comparison. Again, this isn't to like shame one or highlight one or whatever, it's just to see how they do what they do, because that stuff interests me. And with the N64, like I said before, it's been such a tough console to like get a great experience out of, and it really wasn't until I got the RAD2X that I found something that was somewhat cost efficient. I mean, it's not like it's cheap, but it's cheaper than the other side of way of doing it. So it was the first time seeing a solution that wasn't like an exorbitant expense. Because the 5X Pro is not cheap, obviously. Neither are like those higher end cables. It's stuff that I've had to do over a great many years of gradually acquiring to get to this point to do these kind of comparisons. So it's worth saying there. So hey, thanks for watching. Hope you found it helpful or informative, like I said. Feel free to subscribe if you want to help grow the channel. Past like 750 subs recently. Man, very much grateful for that. Thank you for everyone who watches and who has subscribed. We have the Discord server. It's been live for a while now. Place to come hang out, talking about games, movies, etc. It's also where content for the channel will go first. Normally it's a thing for members that are of a certain level or higher, which is free. It's just participation that earns you those level ups. But for the whole of 2023, all the videos go there first. So depending on how you're watching this, maybe you're watching this on the Discord server right now before it goes live to YouTube. It comes live afterward. We're also doing a giveaway on the Discord server as well. You get yourself a free copy of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, a digital copy. We have a draw date. It's here. All you have to do is be a member of the Discord server, and you have a chance to win. It'll be like a kind of random draw, and the winner gets the Super Mario Bros. Movie, a digital copy of it. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a great rest of your day.